The Wellness Hour. An in-depth discussion with today's top physicians and medical leaders. And now, your host, Randy Alvarez.
You're watching The Wellness Hour, the leader in medical news and information. I'm Randy Alvarez. Today's topic, how to look years younger without surgery. My first guest is Portland, Oregon's top, most sought-after dermatologist, Dr. Key. Dr. Key, welcome to the program.
Randy, it's a pleasure. Just a pleasure.
All right, now we've wanted you on the program for quite some time. Met you at a big conference in Miami.
Correct.
Very interesting. And I said, we have to have you on the show. You say that you're at a new time, an exciting time in medicine.
I believe that what we're seeing over the last 10 years is changing all the rules.
Interesting. Okay.
We always felt that there was only one way to go, which was forward. Never possible to drift backwards a little bit. And what we're seeing is the patients that look at our photographs from 10 years ago, 7 years ago, a large number look fantastic today compared to 7, 6, 10 years ago. Now, no one's going to say that we can absolutely stop the clock of time. That clock's going to tick.
But the appearance, you can't.
Didn't say that.
Okay.
No, I think that no one would believe it if I said we could freeze the clock of time, nor would anyone want it. I think what we want is to look fantastic for the age we're at.
Okay.
Not to be frozen at some ungodly one moment at a time. That's what I chose to look like forever. I think we wouldn't like that as a wish. But what we're doing is changing all the rules. For a while, let's just take something complex but simple.
Okay.
Let's take acne scarring.
Acne scarring.
Something we know about. You can look at it two ways. Are we really taking the acne scars away? That's how we thought about it.
Aren't you?
When we were doing dermabrasion, something like that. Or are we putting something back? And we really aren't taking the scars away.
What are you doing?
We're putting profound healing, profound repair, collagen repair.
Like building it back up?
Your body wakes up and says, I've got to do a better job of healing this. And lo and behold, tons of new collagen come in, new skin cells.
With the use of lasers or the various treatment options?
The various treatment options.
Okay.
But if we're doing laser resurfacing, if we're doing fractionated carbon dioxide laser resurfacing and punching tiny microbeams of laser energy, we call it super dot, lots of energy into the skin responds to that, not by concealing or hiding the acne scars, by a regeneration process. Now, we can't do that. The body has to do it. So we're harnessing the power within us to heal.
Interesting.
And that's the path. We never knew it was there. It's been there all along.
So dermatologists nowadays, like you say, we don't even know what to call ourselves. Somebody says, what do you do?
Well, we've gotten, what do we call, why do we call it plastic surgery? Why do we call it dermatology? What do we do when we leave the path of simply cutting away skin and throwing it away and calling that a cure for aging, which it isn't?
Okay.
What do we do when all of a sudden we take a patient and he says, you know what, I just don't feel good about myself at this time. I look in the mirror, I've got my lines, I've got my wrinkles, it's holding me back. It's either holding me back in my own personal life, it may be holding me back in my workplace. I'm falling behind. I just don't feel as positive about myself as I used to. And all of a sudden we treat. My gosh, the difference is there the moment the laser beam begins tracking on the skin surface, let alone as we allow the time, the 2, 4, 5, 6 months for that full regenerative process to build beneath the skin. And we're transforming. It's a natural process. This is not a distortion. We're giving back something that has been lost, that's precious, that is uniquely that person.
So the mask of aging that you talk about, you say it's a new concept for your patients. Tell me about that.
We're looking at structure that holds the face up, muscle and fat, too little fat, too much fat, the loss of muscle structure, the loss of bone structure, and then most importantly, the skin itself. Those are the layers of aging.
Okay.
And where do we see it? We see how A chest that was once gorgeous, the décolletage changes. It becomes leathery, brown spots, whatever. The backs of hands, the way the hands lose their shape, they become thin, hollow.
So I told you, your hands look younger than mine.
Some of us are just lucky, Randy.
Okay.
The way the face changes, the hollows here.
And the arms, you treat the arms as well?
The arms have been a challenge, but every one of the challenges we put in front of us is falling by the wayside. And in these last 2 years, we're now treating the full arm.
Arms, hands, neck,
chest,
and face.
Upper back, face, neck. What else is there? It's everything we expose to the world around us. It's all changing. It's all now possible. It was only dreamed of a few years ago.
Now, for people just tuning in, we're talking about looking years younger without surgery. Do you believe 40 years, 50 years from now, there'll be very little plastic surgery, as they say? And it'll be more about what we're talking about today, minimally invasive?
The minimally invasive, and I'm going to use the word non-invasive versus this idea of invasiveness. It's not just the beginning. We're writing the middle chapter of the end of plastic surgery. We're not at the beginning chapter anymore.
Famous plastic surgeon in France, you said, I'm never going to do a facelift again.
And that's the fellow who basically became one of the first people in the world to do fat transfer injection.
Okay.
Yes, it was Pierre Poignet. A remarkable, forward-looking individual. Now, what does that mean for our patients? This means that I might take a weekend off. I might just leave the office. That this idea that I need to go in hiding for any length of time is falling by the wayside. And it also means results that are natural.
Natural results.
Which is terribly important. We're making the best of you, not the best of someone else. We're bringing out what is it that is uniquely special about you as a person that we want to bring back, that we want to slow down that clock. We talk about a yin and a yang. We talk about prevention and repair. And it's so exciting. Medicine has made a big thing about the repair part. Now we're getting into the prevention part.
The regeneration, you call it.
And regeneration is absolutely what
So people with bags under their eyes or hollow skin or saggy jowls, if they go to you, you're saying you can regenerate that.
Yes, because we use a layered approach. We actually have a patent granted by the U.S. government called layered light.
Layered light. Okay.
Layered light, granted U.S. And our patent was technically, for those of you who want to know, called chromophore amplification. And what we term that is layered light, using light in layers to treat depth of aging. I'll give you some examples. There is no one laser that can treat the full face structure. We can't treat muscle, bone, skin, all with something so simple. So in the consult, we make some judgments. For you, is it mostly gravity? Is it laxity? For you, is it mostly sun surface aging? Is it something of both? Is it that we need to use a small microfiber laser to dissolve fat in the jowl and tighten skin? Or what about the under chin neck? Do we need to tighten that? Do we need to take fat away? These are all possible.
So all of these options, though, are given. I mean, when a patient goes to you, and we were talking about the 40-plus woman, goes to you, and I'm sure it's men and women.
Let's say the 45 to 50-year-old man, the 39-year-old woman, the 67-year-old patient.
And what do they say? Do they say, look, I just want to look great for my age, I want to look fresh, I want to look younger?
No, we do something very important. I say, what is it that bothers you? I start off by saying, I'm not here treating myself. I'm treating you. And what is on your list? And I say, we're going to make some sense of that. But whatever bothers you most, be sure and mention it, because we can now treat it. Don't leave it off the list.
Now, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. I have questions about lasers, about ultrasound. You call it focused ultrasound, pixelated lasers, lasers for dissolving fat, things like that. If you're just tuning in, we're talking with Dr. Key. He's a board-certified dermatologist, well-known all over the country. In fact, this is not an exaggeration. He believes that that if I start going to him now, follow his protocols and eat right, and plenty of rest, things like that, and everything goes right,
and have fun.
That in my 80s, I can look about the same age as I do today. You believe that?
No, because you're going to look about 10 years older.
That's about it.
I think so.
So I can look.
You're going to look fantastic.
But at 80, I mean, you could pretty much stop or slow that aging where I'm 80. I'm going to look maybe 10 years older, max, the age I am today. That's your belief.
You're going to be the most fantastic looking guy on the block, Randy.
Okay, good. Well, okay, we're going to take a quick break. We come back, more about your approach, looking years younger without surgery. We'll be right back. You're watching the Wellness Hour, the leader in medical news and information. I'm Randy Alvarez. Today's topic, how to look years younger without surgery. Well-known board-certified dermatologist Dr. Key is going to show us how. Okay, now your center, for people just tuning in, Key Laser Institute, where do you stand on technology? I mean, you have the next generation, the new stuff, as they
Whatever
say.
the edge is, we're beyond the edge.
You're there.
We're there. And it's almost because we know we need to go there. We know where the limitations, we know where, with the tools we have, are great. We also know where they can fall short, and we need to go beyond that. So it's been exciting being part of the change that has come over the last decade.
Okay, good. Now, we haven't talked about your background and training. Very impressive. Let's start there. Let's talk a little bit about your medical training and when you knew you wanted to become a dermatologist and how things have changed over the years and the ongoing training, things like that.
Well, I'm going to leap forward just a little bit.
Okay.
So one of the things I think is how life sort of goes in a big full circle. A long time ago, I had an research interest into a rare disease, and that was at the National Cancer Institute in Bethesda, Maryland. And our patients had a rare disease called xeroderma pigmentosa. What does that mean?
Yeah. What does it mean?
That they died very young, in their late teens or early 20s, from hundreds and hundreds of skin cancers. The answer is why? They were lacking something. They were lacking the natural ability that you and I do every day of our lives to fix ultraviolet DNA damage from sunlight. We didn't know that there were enzyme systems in the body that restore wellness in terms of ultraviolet damage every day of our lives. And here we are 30, 40 years later, using lasers to harness that same kind of wellness, that regenerative power. So in a funny way, things have gone full circle.
And for people, because we've talked a long time on the phone. I mean, I was fascinated. I'm trying not to endorse you. I'm just asking the questions. But you are creating a burn on the face.
No.
In a way.
No.
But you're creating some sort of assault on the face that forces the body to heal itself, and building collagen, tightening the skin. Is that true?
No.
Am I just saying it all wrong?
No.
Okay, let's hear this.
No, I think it's really important.
All right.
Burns scar. Burns are what we don't want. Burns are the phone calls we get at least once a week from somewhere in the West United States from a patient I've never seen, that something's gone wrong because they made the wrong choice.
And you need to fix them.
And now they say, what can you do for me?
Okay.
We haven't met the patient yet, but what can you do for me? What this is about is not magic, not voodoo, but micro-controlled injury. Injury. We've got to fool the body into wound repair.
Interesting.
We've got to trick the body. Can't see aging. It's blind to that. But make a small, invisible, few millionths of an inch puncture, entry, something with a laser beam. Or put the laser beam into fat. A little small, something smaller, a tenth the size of a spaghetti string, and move it. And all of a sudden, this tightens, that improves, the fat's gone.
So the jowls, by creating this injury, and not over-treating, obviously.
Not over-treating.
The jowls go up and get tighter, the fat goes away, the fatty tissue?
Absolutely.
Really? Okay.
Exciting. Undreamed of. It's like living in an age of miracles. But it isn't a miracle. It's very high-tech. But these lasers, this equipment, everything we're doing is dumb. The machine is dumb. It takes artistry, it takes knowledge, talent, and an awful lot of experience to make this work.
Because a lot of people, and I don't want to go negative on this, but a lot of people are going to, I have some insights, but a lot of people are going to, very inexperienced people, that the machines, I guess, don't do all the work. Is that true? You have to go to somebody
you're not
that really
choosing the machine.
Okay.
You're not choosing the machine. Let's pretend for a moment that you chose your own personal doctor who could never make a right diagnosis.
All right.
How long would you stay with that doctor? Not very long. You're choosing not the scalpel blade, you're choosing the surgeon. You're not choosing the laser, you're choosing your physician. It's so important. So much is possible, but so much of it becomes ordinary, I'm going to say, at the Medi-Spa level. Because you need the talent, you need the artistry, you need the knowledge to make this work.
I talked to a plastic surgeon about you, well known, out of UCLA. I said, do you know Dr. Key? Because everybody I talk to knows who you are. And I said, he believes that you can, and of course I'm always talking in my own lingo. This isn't what you told me, but I was paraphrasing. He said, you can really take a 40, 50-year-old, make them look that way, or a great version of that, up into their 80s without surgery. And you could take somebody with saggy skin, even in their 70s, with a lot of sun damage, and regenerate those people and avoid a facelift. I go, do you believe that? And this is a pretty progressive guy. One of the guys that invented the endoscopic brow lift. And he said, I think so. I think what he is doing is the next generation, the next level of where this is all going. He said, that's why I do both. He goes, the more I'm learning about, and the technology is finally here to really do it. What are your thoughts on that?
The technology is here, and it's changing every day. We're in a world that we have, what do we call this, Randy? We call this is not cosmetic.
It's regenerative medicine? It's hard to pronounce. I mean, what is it?
I think it's closer to the truth. Cosmetic means to conceal. We're not concealing anything. Aesthetic means to beautify. But do we need to be beautiful? We're dealing with something that we've never had the capacity before, never even dreamed possible before.
So your job is different. I mean, if I were to call it a job, a career, than it was 20, 30 years ago where you were, as you say, repairing things, removing spots, port wine stains, acne.
Mohs surgery, removing skin cancer.
Now you are rejuvenating. I'm using the word rejuvenating, but you're giving people back that youthful appearance.
Regenerative, reparative, and what's really exciting, preventative.
Okay.
And we're hitting all three. Now, I went back to something just a moment ago. We're always treating the patient. We're not treating some abstract something. And the patient has a concern. No, those don't bother me. Botox is not for everyone. Fillers.
That's hard to believe.
Hard to
no,
believe.
I'm kidding. Because I love Botox. We've talked about it.
But, maybe I like that expression. Maybe, I've always said, handsome face, Humphrey Bogart, great lines and wrinkles. Who would subtract one of those lines and wrinkles?
So you like the wrinkles on your forehead?
I love them. Without them, I'd have to use my hands even more than I do.
Okay.
And so it's not a matter of making anyone fit a style, but what is the style that fits that person? Patients have a truth within themselves. They know maybe what they need the most. We give them a little help. We're never trying to force someone into something that they're not. The naturalness comes, again, because we're focusing on, and I said this before, something is lost. Something begins to drift away.
We're talking about with appearance. Is that what we're
with
talking
appearance. But appearance is structure. Appearance is the health of tissue.
Because the jowls start falling, the neck starts falling.
And what are we talking
about?
These are falling down because something is lost, because this is becoming more unhealthy. The collagen structure, the density, elastic tissue. As a dermatologist, I mean, the excitement is, let's pretend we want to treat sun aging for a little bit. Lines and wrinkles and color, blotchiness, the lack of luster, lack of clarity, all these things. There are no boundaries now. Neck, chest, all these are treatable. Whether we're going to use pixelated lasers, whether we're going to use fractionated lasers, there's a different choice for every person. You have to be knowledgeable on more than one laser format. The knowledge skills are broad. How does the healing happen?
So the doctor has to make the choice of what technology is going to suit the patient best.
And very clearly explain.
And that comes from experience.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And a clear explanation to the patient what these choices are. Will there be some downtime? Will there be very little downtime, more downtime? And the model is never pure. No one has, very few patients will have just pure sun aging. There'll be some hollowing, some sunkenness. Do we need to fill a shadow under the eye? Do we need to help with the gel? Do we need to fill or help here, elevate the cheek, restore the brow shape? All this is possible, but we're addressing it to each patient individually. What makes the most sense for them? And it doesn't all need to be done at once. It can be. It could be done this day, that day. We could do something today. We can approach something else in 4 months, 3 months, 6 months. It's not all a matter of having to get it all done tomorrow.
Can you do things now that you couldn't even do just 2 years ago, as far as results?
Can we do things now that we couldn't do 6 months ago?
Really?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You say they were, and we're out of time, by the way, but you were over-treating before with technology, with things like thermage or lasers, because I think a lot of us have seen the people, that their face doesn't look natural. Maybe their neck is old, their face is young. Elaborate on that.
I wouldn't say we were over-treating. I think surgery was over-treating.
Okay.
Surgery always has a price. We pull something, we're distorting something. We're throwing something away, the skin we've discarded. I don't believe that's the right approach. My patients don't believe that either. It's amazing to me, Randy, the hundreds and hundreds of new patients I'll meet a year who've had surgery as their choice 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. They're never going back to that. They've done that, they've experienced that, and now they want to go forward. And what I'm going to call the new medicine, maybe that's the way we should call it.
The new medicine.
The new medicine. And to be part of that chapter, to be pushing that edge outwards, that we're becoming much more natural, more holistic, even in mainstream medicine, in a regenerative process, makes every single day I go to that office exciting. We're breaking the sound barrier, if not the barrier of light,
really?
Every day.
It's that good. I talked to...
You would love to trade jobs.
Yes.
No, you would love to do this. You would. This is something that you would say, I give my eye teeth for.
Really? You love it?
Totally.
What do you love most about it?
I think it's making people happy. That makes my day.
Are you surprised at the boost in self-esteem sometimes that you see
I'm
in patients?
awed by it. I'm awed by how much this can hold someone back.
Really? Elaborate on that.
And how often we see the patient will say, you don't know how much this has changed my life.
Really?
We talked about coming out from behind the mask. That's how we just started.
Okay.
Where has that person been hiding?
Great stuff. Final message. Somebody watching this, they don't like the way they're aging, or maybe they want to take advantage of some of this preventive stuff that you're talking about. What's your message then? Where do they start?
Don't just do it on the web. It begins with a consult. It begins with that important meeting, that physician, and I'm using the word physician, who's going to sit down you, understand what you're trying to say, and give you their best.
All right. I want to thank you for coming on the show. Very interesting.
My pleasure.
So they could go to your website, they could read your blog, Sizzling Hot blog, and hear our uncut version, not only on our website, but your website.
Absolutely.
You've been watching The Wellness Hour, leader in medical news and information. I'm Randy Alvarez. If you would like to see this interview again, or even see the uncut version, you can go to our website at wellnesshour.com. For now, I wish you good health.
Thanks for watching The Wellness Hour, the leader in medical news with your host, Randy Alvarez, the authority on health issues.